Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new concept of a series that we have, which is called the Proof of Coordination series. Proof of Coordination is the theme of our campaign, and it's sort of unilateral and wide-ranging because ultimately everything we do at NodeOps comes down to successful and efficient, you could say, and effective coordination. So this series is specifically intended to deliver content that is very intuitive and digestible by having conversations with fellow team members. I'm personally the social media manager at NodeOps, joined here by Alex, who is the head of marketing. And yeah, these are what can I say, super relatable conversations where you'll learn more about the specific role and responsibilities of some of the team members and also some of their inputs and their contribution during this sort of, you could say, intense time period. Now that we're fully in the airdrop era right now, you could say node season. So this is a little bit of an intro. You can expect more episodes like this one in the future with fellow team members, but no better way to start than with Alex. Alex, why don't we start by providing a little intro by yourself and maybe also what does coordination mean to you? As an answer.
Yeah, I am so excited. First of all, this is an experimental concept, so let us know what you think about it. There is a lingering awkward feeling because we are recording each other when this is a normal conversation on a day-to-day basis between Eric and myself. I joined,
Exactly.
yeah, but we are gonna go on the fly and then just do our best to show you how it is behind the scenes here at NodeOps. So I joined NodeOps, I think a whooping 2 weeks ago. It's really like I feel like I graduated from the first fortnight, and it's a badge of honor to join at this crucial time for the project. Myself, I've been in DePIN and in general in Web3 for over 8 years. I've been like with a spanner and a screwdriver trying to build the infrastructure of Web3. That's my passion. I love to look at systems. I try to put them together. So to me, coordination is a great theme. And I see it really, really fits with what NodeOps is set up to do, which is to become an infrastructure that orchestrates a lot of players all around. So if you're asking me what I think of coordination as, I look at building an infrastructure of pieces that fit together and they kind of know how to move against one another. You can really feel coordination. You don't necessarily can label it as such, but definitely when something is not coordinated, you can immediately pinpoint it, and then just say, you know what, this does not gel. There is something broken. So sometimes you can see what it is by seeing what it is not or when it's missing. So I love that, we are building together a movement around this theme. And I'm excited that this is the first dialogue, official dialogue on this as a marketing team, so yeah, very excited to be here.
I mean, I couldn't be more excited myself. Something you said that is so true in the sense that it's one of those abstract words that you can't really put a specific, like a tangible explanation to, right? It's sort of like a feeling, like a condition that you have within a given context, which is in this instance, of course, dictated by NodeOps and the team and everything, the movement, as you mentioned, and the ecosystem, the network, all those big words, right? Because NodeOps is bigger than all of us. So, but it's it's so obvious when you attain it, right? But it's sort of very tangible when you don't have it as coordinate with like that condition of coordination where the team is delivering and everyone is swimming in the same direction. So what I wanted to ask you is like, given your, now that I've seen, of course, how you work and how much of a powerhouse you are, is it's a tricky one because you have to mix creativity and structure a little bit, right? So be looking at you got to be making data-driven decisions based on processes and instruments that you have at your disposal, but also bring in that maybe crazy idea, right, that a team member might pitch to you and say, "Hey, like maybe this piece of content we can deliver as such and such." So maybe from in your previous jobs, how did you manage to find that sweet balance, and how are you looking to bring in that approach right within NodeOps?
Yeah. First of all, I'm a bit of a crazy oddball in general as a person, but as a marketer, I bring, I love to bring harmony across paradoxes. So someone feels that because something is intellectually coordinated, then it cannot be experienced in a more natural and intuitive way. But the two things, or in a creative way, the two things couldn't be like the more joined as it is. My personal background, actually, that's what first of throw, an oddball over here. I actually don't come from an engineering background or from traditional background. I was actually a concert pianist, as by trade. So I had to understand
That's
the
awesome.
structure of a piece, and that was the baseline to then be free to create on top of it. Sometimes you feel like you cannot be free to express yourself if you cannot orientate yourself on the boundaries of that expression. We're all felt like, is this too much? Is this not enough? I feel unsure. I don't feel safe in expressing it in my environment because I haven't read the environment. So if you go back at the root of coordination, the first association in my mind is actually coordinates. You go around in the world, right? The coordinates will give you, the exact location and position of where you are. And I think that's the
Right.
core message behind coordination. Where are you and what is your environment? Who are part of your environment? What are the players? What are the missing pieces? Then you're free to create. Then you're free to join and disjoin and break and build. And then you can be really a crazy person just doing whatever you want. But if you do not have that context, that clarity, then to me it becomes really hard because you're dealing with uncertainty and ambiguity. So I like to clear the ambiguity by providing a context to the coordination, look at that as a system, and then go wild. And there is plenty to go wild. And actually, as NodeOps, we're going to go wild. There is a lot in the firepower of what we're going to do in the next few weeks. So that's exciting.
That's a good way to look at
Did
it.
I
I
answer your
never sort of broke
questions?
it down
Maybe
as
I
per.
didn't.
Yeah, you did. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's value adding and thought
Okay.
provoking. Those are the conversations that I like having. Anyhow, yeah, I didn't. Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because to every position, it's bidimensional in terms of longitude and latitude, which we all share. But then, given the position of where you are, all the variables and factors sort of defining your context change as well, right? Which is sort of the beauty
Yeah.
of it
And
all,
time.
of where we are. So
Yeah.
exactly,
And time.
couldn't
Time
agree
is a
more.
dimension.
So So actually, wait,
Oh,
to pick on
sorry.
that specific is time. It's no, no, no. It's a perfect assist of where I wanted to take the conversation next because I really wanted for you to be the first team member to interview because you are in a unique position, right? Because you've come in and baptism of fire would be like an overwhelming understatement, right? Because I'm witnessing it firsthand that it's a crazy situation. Let's just say, right? It's just very intense. There's a lot going on, given the Genesis airdrop, right? But you are sort of rising to the moment and to the opportunity, and it's honestly just kick ass to witness. So I wanted to ask you, is like, how do you first as because of course, like as part of the process, you were informed by Naman gradually about what was going on and everything. So first, as a external participant observer, maybe is a better term, about everything that was going on, right? And then after now, as part of the equation, how do you see the airdrop and yeah, just essentially everything we're doing as an expression of proof of coordination in action, right? Like, can you differentiate between before as an observer and now as part of the team? Do things actually make more sense to you, or not?
NodeOps itself is a powerhouse. It is a powerhouse because of the people behind it, because of the product that is being built, and also because of the timeliness of what is being built. So there is no doubt that there is a lot of energy to be expressed. So it may come across as chaotic when you are behind the scenes, just because of the sheer volume of things that you have to take care of. We are a super lean team. Like we don't waste time. We barely sleep. We're just committed to the success of the community. We are committed to the success of the project. Product, sleepless nights to make sure that the product keeps delivering the value that it's. And this is above the threshold of many projects out there. Having been, on a wide variety of projects in my career, I've seen, the enterprise delivery of Google Cloud. Before joining, NodeOps, I was at Google Cloud as part of their Web3 team. I was Web3 specialist for growth. So I could see the coordination, they were expressing in a more, uh, how can I say,
Corporate.
choreography. Like they know exactly, where to go. There's something that is a blueprint that is very well established. For a company like NodeOps, we are at the cutting edge. There is no playbook. We are pushing the boundaries. We want to go to DePIN 2.0, right? We are working at the intersection between DePIN and DeFi. We really want to build something completely new. So we are and I could see it from the outside. I could see that even before joining, and I was at Fluence and, I was with other players, from the outside in, you could see the potential of NodeOps to express the full potential. And you could see that there was one piece missing, which we all know that it's coming, very soon. And that piece missing means that is the full expression of the potential of NodeOps will come to fruition. So that's the economic side, the economic coordination that will power the network underneath. So the promise that was before, it's definitely there as I joined. I find a team that is honest and consistent. So whatever it's been seen from the outside, 100% is at the back. That passion, that drive, that relentless commitment to execution. Naman is a great leader, and so Pratik and JD, you can see that we live and breathe a desire to build a product that works, that deliver real values, that actually generates revenue, and now it extends into a coordinated ecosystem that will benefit way, way more the entire Web3 ecosystem.
I mean, I couldn't have pitched that better after being here for months, and this is the product of of you being here for like 3 weeks. So I think either you're
But I've been
exceptionally well
watching for a
versed, or
while.
we've done
I've
or
been
we've done a
watching for a
decent
while.
job
Like,
at exactly communicating what we're trying to do essentially, right? And the beauty of it all, at least from my perspective, is that it's sort of like an imperfect science, right? And it's not like there is no such thing as no such thing as a finish line. The Considering how grand and ambitious the vision is, right? Because you don't necessarily ever get to um, like an end line, right? This is something that really transpired as I was doing the editing this morning for the conversation between Naman and Sandeep, right? And Sandeep like needs no further introduction. Everybody knows who he is and what he's been able to achieve for the space and just in general. I think, yeah, just without, because I could literally talk about this at length for 20 plus minutes. He's done a lot. He's done a lot, but especially for infra, right? Consider that we are an infra player, more focused towards compute, but he's just generally speaking pushing blockchain infra. The realizations that he was sort of making and reflecting on his journey and 2 years back and where it's just awesome to see how it's just a continuous long journey, right? And so long that you're honest with your intentions, and then you realize mistakes where they're made, where they're not. Of course, I realize it's a lot harder as a founder because you're sort of the first in the line of fire. But it was great to see. So I understand. Yeah, at least this was probably just an extension of how I feel, very where I get the energy from. And you mentioned in your answer something that we are really sort of driving and we're proud of is the DePIN 2.0, which, if I'm not mistaken, was the product of Hitesh, a term that he coined, right? Behind without spoiling too much about tokenomics, right? But a lot has been shared about sort of some of the founding principles, right, and notions upon which our tokenomics design and model is built on. Would you be able to share a little more as to what makes you excited about it? And yeah, why do you think it's a system that's actually more equitable for the community as well?
yeah. So you see, what excites me in particular about our overall proposition with the token is that we really do not care about the hype. Like we really don't want to appeal to that superficial engagement that creates an illusion of community, creates an illusion of participation, but in reality, it is very shallow. It is very transactional. I like that the stance of designing the token is unapologetic in saying you've got to work for it. You have to either be a direct participant or a core contributor to the movement, to the ideology of improving the infrastructure through DePIN. You are not compromising on that. And it is bold. So we are running the risk of alienating a chunk of, certain type of Web3 community. But we, in a way, like we don't care because we know what we care about, and what we care about is more valuable. So in that sense, the closed loop economics that we are using, we will have to survive, a wider macro environment as all economic, theories, they have to test the theory to practice, ring of fire. We will have to be through that, of course. But as we stand now, the homework has been done really thoroughly, and we have really strong belief in the power of the utility of the token. So it does not touch on any type of maybe we wish for. Like we've got the maths, we've got the usage, we've got the revenue, we've got the backing of solid players in the space that are, looking at our papers and saying, you know what, I can see this working. So again, we are crossing a boundary, right? It has not been done before. So do we have absolute certainty? No, we wouldn't be at the cutting edge otherwise. That would be then a safe play. There is no
Right.
such thing. Like you cannot reconcile that paradox. You have the certainty that this might be right, but it may be crossing a line that nobody has before. So we don't know what's the outcome. The perfect example, it is one of my heroes, is Alex Honnold. It goes and really go free soloing. I don't know we were never talking
Oh
about
yeah, yeah,
my
yeah,
mountaineering.
yeah.
I love for mountaineering. I go to the Himalayas and then just go for days and trekking, in high altitude mountaineering. Alex Honnold takes takes dedication and bet on his own ability to do things to a new level. Like he literally betting his own life by looking at and planning whatever he can about his environment so that it's a calculated risk that most people wouldn't be able to do, wouldn't be able to take, because you have to keep your cool and you have to take that leap of faith in your own ability to read what is unknown. In the same way, I think
That's
we
awesome.
are building something that is definitely new, and we don't know, but we also know. So we have to explore together in this journey and see how it's going to play out.
Totally, totally. That element of unknown is what makes everything fun and worthwhile, right? If you knew how everything would play out, it would sort of take away the element of excitement, right? So, uncharted territory is literally very charted for us, considering that we're
Yeah.
constantly venturing into I wouldn't say dangerous waters, just new waters, right? It's the beauty of it, and you just figure out how to swim and to thrive accordingly. And what's clear for us, at least, is sort of what's been clear for me since I've joined, right? Because I think everyone has their own sort of take, right? As being part of the team, that's the beauty of having a lot of um, uh, ownership, right, and autonomy as part of the team, as you mentioned, is that the compass and the North Star has always been to just deliver solutions that are value adding, intuitive, and just straight away at 360 degrees useful, right, for our end user. And that's ultimately what it boils down to, right? If you have revenue, it means that it's being recognized by your end user. So it's pretty simple. At the end of the day, that's what I think any business should strive to do, regardless of the context within which they operate, right? So this is where I wanted to sort of ask one of the concluding questions for you is, considering our stance, right, that we want to ground everything on fundamentals and utility. Your allocation is a translation and reflection of your contributions and actions. So it's not like, oh, you've shared a message on Discord and maybe you have or you haven't. It's actually like, okay, did you rent? Did you deploy that node? Did you deploy that workload? Did you complete that quest? That's the beauty of blockchain, right? Is on-chain transparency. Do you think that as a result of doing that, you are in a way like, is it more of a risk or an opportunity for your target audience, or maybe does it take away from having a target audience? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Does it make messaging a lot more black and white or actually gray?
Here is it. Now, you mentioned the word North Star. So to me, it's always who are you optimizing for, right? Who are you optimizing for? Why are you doing it? You go even one level higher. Why are you doing it? Like, what's the impact? What's the legacy? So if you look at the higher need of a product like DePIN overall, is to be a verifiable and scalable network that can deliver a trustless way of disintermediating powers that otherwise would eventually become a hurdle to access of
Right.
growth and opportunities. So if you're looking at this and you just look at the entirety of the participant in the ecosystem, you want to have good participation from all players. So you may have compute providers, you may have staking partners, you may have L1 and L2s that are working with us. So you have a complex ecosystem, and for them, priorities are very different. But we are the unifying thread. So the economies of the token and all the campaigns that we do, of course, cater to each one of them in a way that makes sense economically. So there is an incentive and disincentive economy to everything that is designed on a blockchain. So that's what we are designing for. Make sure that there is a way for them to coordinate without us being in the middle. And that's in reality, that's the proof of coordination that we're talking about, is the disintermediation of any central party, because you're provided the ground
Right.
rules and the protocol for people to just be free and completely in control over how they're going to interact with the system, where they can coordinate with one another as they see fit. Right? There is no more like then the pin come to fruition fully in my in my opinion, right? There is no architecting or manufacturing participation because the economies don't work out well. So when it comes to participation, we want to give proof. We want to give verifiability of the entire network. I think that we see this as the important thing here, right? That's the North Star for us. Can we build a
Of course.
system that works by itself in a trustless way and delivers value in an ecosystem that needs one another? Then we win. Everybody's winning. Then the entire ecosystem, benefits from it.
Couldn't have said it better once again. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun, let's just say, and I think I do, at least personally speaking, my best work when I'm having fun. So it's exciting, and it's a concept that is in continuous metamorphosis, you could say, right? And development. So it's something, the concluding question I want to ask you is, what do you think that okay, choose how to answer this. Do you think it's more, what do you think this approach will, like, what do you think this approach will look like in 2 to 3 years, different from our interpretation today? Or do you want to take the question of where this coordination approach will take us? So up to you how you want to
Yeah.
interpret it.
Personal goal in general for how I see my contribution to the entire ecosystem. I want to be disintermediated. Like I want to be relevant. I am building for my relevance. I would like for us to build a community that finds value in each other. They find, enjoyment. They find fulfillment. Everybody's coming. When they want to shitpost, they shitpost. When they want to do serious stuff with a screwdriver and the spanner and building, then that's what they're going to do. So we build that environment that is safe, productive, useful, functioning, and then we disappear. So we just make it so
Right.
that the entire ecosystem is self-sufficient. That's my goal. I just want to retire early, do nothing, and enjoy the beauty of an ecosystem that works by itself. That to me is the promise of Web3 to begin with, and that's what I work for.
That's a beautiful image and vision, like a fun, permissionless playground, right, where everything is sort of allowed and democratic. So I think there's no better note to end it on. Alex, this has been a lot of fun. I'm sure it's the first of many. Is there any concluding thought or remark or note that you'd like to share with the audience? Now's the time for you.
We are at a crucial time for NodeOps. We cannot do it alone. So if you have ideas, if you have thoughts, suggestions, feedback for us, just let us know. We have plenty of channels open between Telegram, Discord, X. Just reach out, tell us. That's the time we are open. We're listening. That's the call to action, the main call to action for us as a marketing team. We want for you to help us in any way. We will respond, and we will be very committed to follow your lead.